Hi everyone, this is Brendan from LemWatch. In this video, we want to answer a question that many teams are asking in 2026. Is better stack still relevant? Monitoring tools evolve quickly. New platforms appear every year, and teams constantly look for better ways to detect outages, manage incidents, and keep systems running smoothly. But despite all the new tools entering the market, better stack still shows up in a lot of tech stacks. So in this video, we'll talk about why teams still use it, the common mistakes that make it feel outdated, and how to fix those issues. Over the past few years, monitoring and incident management tools have expanded quite a lot. Teams now expect platforms to handle uptime monitoring, incident alerts, logs and diagnostics, status pages, and performance visibility. One of the tools that many teams rely on is BetterStack. It combines uptime monitoring, logs, incident management, and alerting all in one system. But sometimes when people say a tool isn't relevant anymore, it's not really the tool's fault. It's usually because of how the system is set up. Let's look at a few common mistakes that make BetterStack feel less effective than it actually is. The first mistake that teams make is only using it as a basic uptime tracker. They add a monitor for the website and stop right there. But the platform is designed for much more than that. It can also handle incident management and its timelines. It can do alert escalation, log searches, and it does infrastructure monitoring. If you only use one small part of the system, you miss most of its value. Right, so the fix here is quite simple. Instead of treating it like a simple uptime tool, configure multiple parts of the platform. Use your uptime checks together with alert escalation and log visibility. That way, when something fails, you don't just know that it is down, you also have the information needed to diagnose the problem. Another issue the teams run into is poorly configured alerts. At the beginning, teams often send alerts everywhere: Slack, email, SMS, and multiple team channels. It sounds helpful, but after a while, it actually just becomes noise. When alerts happen too often, people start ignoring them. And that's when real incidents slip through unnoticed. Use alert escalation rules instead. You can set up your escalation policies there. For example, your first alert would go to Slack. If it isn't resolved in a few minutes, send an SMS and then escalate to another engineer if needed. This keeps alerts meaningful instead of overwhelming. Another mistake is overloading the logging system. Every request, every debug line, and every tiny event, if you request for them to be logged, it is extremely useful in the beginning, but too much logging creates problems. Your searching becomes slow, important errors get buried in noise, and storage costs increase exponentially. How do you fix that? Well, focus logs on meaningful events like errors, failed requests, authentication problems, payment failures. This makes troubleshooting much faster during incidents. For context, this is how we do this in LemWatch, which is the tool we use ourselves. LemWatch takes a slightly different approach. Instead of combining many layers of observability LemWatch focuses heavily on clarity. The system actually just requires a simple uptime monitoring, clean alerts, and easy dashboards with clear incident visibility. For many teams, especially smaller development teams or agencies, this simplicity makes monitoring easier to manage. You don't need to configure dozens of settings before understanding whether something is wrong. So, is better stack still relevant in 2026? Yeah, for many teams it is. It offers strong uptime monitoring, incident management, and logging capabilities in a single platform. But like any monitoring tool, the real value depends on how well it's configured. If the alerts are noisy or logs are overloaded, even a powerful platform can feel ineffective. If you're exploring monitoring tools and want a simpler approach focused on uptime visibility and fast alerts, LemWatch is another option worth considering. If you want to see this approach in full, LemWatch is linked below.